Hi, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, the bishops at the Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. It's your brother Rabbi Knapp coming out with a lesson. Lord's will is edifying to the Lord's elect. I found this video. Apostle Tahar, he said, fat and sloppy, no excuse in GMS. Change your diet, employ bodily exercise, man. And I've been hearing this a lot, man. You know, through the spirit, I've been already, um, especially the diet part, man. Because you could do a lot. I mean, working out is one thing. You need both, of course. But the diet, man, is like way more important in my opinion, man. What you digest and put in your body, man. Nowadays, it's more important than anything, you know. But I'm curious to see what he's gonna say, cause the elder man, honestly, he's been on fire, man. He did a short video and he was just cooking with some beef tallow thing, man. I went and bought it myself, man. And you can eat it and feel the difference of how you would feel if you used oil. Oil makes you like kind of sluggish a little bit, man. That's what I noticed. You know, sometimes, you know, it depends how much you're in tune with your body, man. But, you know, fat shaming and all that, you know, with love and care, you know, it's like when you're trying to save someone out of a fire, you don't say it in a way where they're not gonna receive it. You know, you tell them, look, get the fuck out the fire, man. Galatians 6:1, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Okay, let's look what Google says about this. This is a good precept that I like to. It's a good precept to bring up when you're trying to correct somebody, you know, with understanding. Galatians 6:1 instructs spiritually mature Christians to gently restore fellow believer caught in a sin, demonstrating a Christ-like attitude of humility and care rather than judgment. This restoration should be done with self-awareness, as those doing the restoring must also be vigilant against being tempted themselves. So, what that kind of is saying is you don't want to be like a hypocrite, you know, telling somebody else to do something that you are not practicing on your own, you know, seeing your own benefits of what you're doing, having done it, and then telling someone else to do it, it hits a little bit different, especially when you've done it yourself and seen the benefits of it before you teach somebody else to do something that you haven't even done yourself. The goal is to mend the broken situation and the individual using the term restore, katartizo, which means to make complete or to mend. Okay? Because that's also what we want to do. We might catch you in a fault, you know, and, you know, the scriptures talk about glutton, being a glutton, man. That's what Babylon is about. It teaches you about being a glutton. Let's see, Bible verse about gluttony. Philippians 3:19. Whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, and whose glory is their shame, who mind earthly things. I mean, let's look into this. Let's see what this is saying in Google. Describes the enemies of the cross of Mashiach as people whose destiny is destruction, who make their belly their God, living for physical pleasures, whose glory is their shame, boasting in sinful acts, and whose minds are set on earthly things. The verse contrasts these individuals. I said that wrong. The verse contrasts these individuals who are focused on worldly desires and self-indulgence with true believers who have their citizenship in heaven and focus on Hamashiach's return and transformation. You know, it's a metaphor, right? You know, that their God is their belly, you know, and especially a case like this, man, you pretty much are you giving over to the lust of the flesh. You know, you're not. Scriptures talk about fortifying your members. Let's go there. This is what you want to be doing. This is what I try to do, and it's not easy, but it comes with practice, man. I've been on the Daniel fast, you know, to the best of my ability. I haven't been eating any meat or beef, but every now and again I eat some fish, forgetting that I'm even on a Daniel fast. But you know, there's gonna be things that tempt you. You know, trying to stay focused on what really matters is having the understanding of eating more healthy, especially sugars and shit like that, man. Eating fast food, man. We should definitely encourage one another to not do that. Proverbs 23:20. Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Let's go there. Proverbs 23. I didn't want to print anything. Proverbs. I didn't even watch his video. 23 and 21. I'm just going in the spirit. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. This verse warns that excessive consumption of alcohol and food leads to financial hardship and destitution. The phrase drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags is a figurative way of saying that laziness, often a result of such excesses, will leave a person poor and in rags. That's right, man. That's a sign that, you're lazy, man. When you start, and it's like you're not taking care of the Lord's vessel, man, because you don't really belong to yourself. Someone gave you something and you just do whatever you want. Now, don't get me wrong. We all got genetics and this, that, and the third. We can strive to do better. That's all I'm saying. I tend to try to think, sometimes I think on a smaller level. I try to do things and build myself up, but start at the smallest level I can. That makes me feel as if it's like you got to trick your mind, into thinking something else, in order to get some. That's how I do it, at least, man. Sometimes, especially you trying to build up the courage to go to the gym, instead of thinking, all right, I'm gonna go to the gym and spend an hour. Go to the gym, spend 15 minutes, 15 minutes, and just do the 15 minutes. Like, do 15 and get the hell out of there, you know? But we tend to go in there, or I feel obligated to do an hour, but then you're not developing the habit that you need, which is just to get your ass there. So we gotta develop these good habits is what I'm trying to say here. Okay. So you don't want to be around wine bibbers among riotous eaters of flesh. Let's see what that means. Riotous eaters of flesh refers to those who gorge themselves on meat in a way that is excessive, unrestrained, and leads to gluttony, a form of riotous living that incurs poverty and ruin. Ooh. And look at the price of beef, man. We technically, if you broke like me, price of beef per pound in 2025. The average price for a pound of ground beef, which was around $6.10 to $6.25 in June, July in 2025, while overall retail beef prices were even higher, reaching 9.26 per pound in July 2025. These record prices are due to a combination of a shrinking U.S. cattle herd, strong demand, high feed costs, and import restrictions from Mexico. So you paying top dollar to eat shit that is not even good for you. Okay. Beef steaks saw a 12.4% increase in June 2025 compared to the previous year, reaching an unadjusted price of $11.88 cents per pound. So the price of beef is going up. The shit um, that you want to eat so much, man. And you know, re- relying on meat, man, you're gonna be hungry quicker than if you have the right fit in your body with the right nutrients, man. Let's read Daniel as a matter of fact, because let's just go there. I think it's Daniel 1. Daniel 1 and 8. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Okay, so just like it says in Proverbs 22, 23, and 20. Be not among winebibbers and among riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. So Daniel knew that this king's meat was bad, man, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. So we need to be thinking about these same things, man, using this same type of wisdom. If wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the times, and you're not using it, you know the food's defiled. Okay? You know it. Even if you eat just your vegetables, what your vegetables are just, it's like eating the best out of the worst, you know? Because it's harder to just maintain eating grains, eating things that you're pretty much not used to, man. But that's gonna keep you full, and it's like a poor man's meal, and we're poor, so you know it's what you do, man. As a matter of fact, let's look into. I just want to Google it. What did poor Israelites eat? Poor Israelites' diet centered on coarse barley bread with other staples including legumes like lentils and beans and vegetables like onions and cucumbers. They relied on cheese and occasionally fish, with meat being a luxury reserved for feast days. Fruits such as figs and grapes, along with nuts and olive oil, also formed a part of their diet, providing essential sustenance. Okay, barley bread was the primary food source, making up a large portion of the diet and providing the majority of calories. Legumes, beans, lentils, and other pulses were important sources of food. Vegetables, onions, garlics, leeks, and cucumbers were commonly grown and consumed. Fruits, figs, pomegranates, dates, and grapes were eaten fresh or dried. Olive oil, a crucial part of the diet, used for cooking and consumed in various forms. Dairy, protein, and fats, meat, a rare luxury for the poor, usually eaten on special occasions or religious festivals. So we didn't consume meat at the rate that we're eating it today. You know, and we're trying to seek those old paths. Okay? As a matter of fact, seek the old paths Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. Yeah, seek those old paths, man. Okay. That diet sustained us. Okay. But being a glutton, you're going to be poor, man. It tells you in Revelation, the 6th chapter, that a day's bread is going to be worth a day's pay. That's just for a loaf of bread. What about meat? You might be able to, that's going to be a luxury in the near future. You know, and if you pretty much addicted to that, man, you're going to have withdrawals, man. You're going to be messed up out here, man. I'm already trying to detach from that shit. You know, trying to rely on a more sustainable meal. That's better for you. Daniel 1:9. Now, the Most High had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs, and the Lord can do that. He says he makes his enemies to be at peace with thee. He makes his enemies to be at peace with thee. KJV. Proverbs 16:7. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. And that's what the Lord did. And I'm glad I looked this up, because I occasionally just want some fish. And you know, I don't. That's what I normally get when I really, really want to eat like some meat. I'll go get some fish, because when it's all said and done, you're probably more likely gonna be able to fish some. You know, when you're looking for food, you probably want to go fishing. You know, so a fishing rod or net, you know, is probably. Learning how to make a net is probably a really good skill, because that's what our forefathers did in the past. They were fishing, you know. Matter of fact, let's when Peter, James, and John were fishing, John 21. Let's go over there, John 20. This is an NIV. Let's go to John 21. Let's open a new tab, man. You know, and I'm just trying to give some insight, because this is good advice. John 21:1. After these things, Yahushua showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, and on his wise showed he himself. They were together, Simon, Peter, and Thomas called Didymus, and Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and the two other of his disciples. Simon Peter saith unto them, I go a fishing. They say unto him, we also go with thee. They went forth and entered into a ship immediately, and that night they caught nothing. But when the morning was now come, Yahushua stood on the shore, but the disciples knew not that it was Yahushua. Then Yahushua saith unto them, children, have ye any meat? They answered him, no. And he answered unto them, cast the net on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find. They cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw it for the multitude of fishes. So that's just showing off a forefather. That's what we ate, man. You think they were fishing for sport? They probably eat what they could and sell what they could. It was a way of living, you know. So that's why it's all right to eat some fish, man. Because that's probably the only thing you're going to be able to find, man. You know. But it's good for you, too. And I don't even eat that all the time. Okay. Daniel 1 and 10. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, fear my lord the king, who have appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse like than the children which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. That's it, man. And pulse is vegetables and water, man. Not these juices and milks. If you're gonna drink milk, man, you know, I've tried oat milk and all different types of milk, man. Lactose-free milk. Cause I don't think we should be drinking milk from a cow, but we did drink milk before, man. Okay. Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee in the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat of the portion of the king's meat. Yeah, you're going to be fucked up out here eating that shit, man. The way we're eating it, man. Our diets are messed up. Thus Melzar, Daniel 1 and 16, took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. And for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. That's pretty much it, man. You know, so our forefathers did it. He wasn't craving the meat. He dropped it, man. He knew it was defiled, and he'd rather choose the pulse and the water. And the water's defiled, some plastic bottles, but it's better than drinking something that's defiled that also has sugar in it and also has artificial dyes and sweeteners and high fructose corn syrup. You know, just stick with the basics, man. We're here. We ain't trying to rest. This ain't our rest, man. We ain't kings. You know, but to be living like one on this side is going to come to your downfall. You know? I'm curious to see what Apostle Gabar says.
All right, Shalom to the house of Israel, the elect. All praises and glory is due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Shalom to you brothers and sisters of the household of faith. This will be a quick video. As you can see, I'm out here doing my walk. I think I completed probably about 4 miles today. Pretty damn close to it. The goal was to do 3 miles, but I felt so good. I had so much energy. I said, you know what? Let me just do some more. I could have did 6 miles today, no problem. But 4 is good, you know. Anyway, this will be a quick video, like I said. Pretty much, I want to talk about getting in shape. Okay, it's a message that I was meditating on while I was listening to Elder Pastor's video. He's talking about his exercising. As you can see, the spirit's on him heavy, and man, that man is getting in shape. All right, he's for his age, he's nice and cut, you know, which is a good thing. It was a joy to see that, you know. I just looked at him the way he was standing and said, yeah, that's all right. So I'm hoping to pass that inspiration on to you brothers. All right, get in shape, man. There shouldn't be no reason for any Israelite in GMS to be morbidly obese. I know we're under the curses, but some of you guys, you rely on that like a psychological crutch, you know?
Let me I want to look at this word morbidly. Define morbidly obese.
According to Mayo Clinic, a disorder that involves having too much body fat, which increases the risk of health problems.
Morbidly obese, also known as class 3 obesity, is a severe form of obesity characterized by a significantly excess amount of body fat that possesses serious health risks. You know, and I was reading something that a lot of us have this undiagnosed. Type 2 diabetes and morbid obesity. Morbid obesity significantly increases the risk of type 2 diabetes by promoting insulin resistance, a condition where the body cells don't respond effectively to insulin, leading to high blood sugar levels. Excess of fat, especially in the liver, causes insulin resistance and increased glucose production, while the resulting high levels of free fatty acids further worsen insulin sensitivity in muscles. Effective management of both morbid obesity and type 2 diabetes often involves a combination of lifestyle changes like diet and exercise, medication, and sometimes metabolic bariatric surgery, which has been shown to effectively treat obesity and lead to diabetes remission or prevention. Yeah, but some people, you don't have to be morbidly obese to have type 2 diabetes, man. Sleep apnea, strokes, heart disease, man. And he never talks about parasites, man. You know, parasites have a lot of, they're so weak, but yet we're not even applying what we know to be true, man, to eat the good shit that this parasite don't even like, which is the shit that you don't like, you know? That's the parasites in your body eating your insulin, man. You know, causing the weight. But then when you reverse what you eat, it don't want to be inside you, man. You know, that's why we need wisdom, man. That's what we're relying upon. You know, if you're gonna endure unto the end, you don't want to be taken out by some shit like this. This is why we gotta constantly just be edifying ourselves, man, and walking in it. Okay.
Yeah, well, you know, we're under the curses and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we are under the curses, but we're also under a time where knowledge has been increased.
Come on, man. Definitely feel him on that. You know, and a lot of our people I know, older men, they're not telling you shit. Like, you know, the fact that they share this wisdom, man, is coming from on high, man. It's very, very, very special that, you know, I'm not in GMS, but there's certain people I do listen to through in GMS that, you know, I take heed to a lot of the things they're saying, because there's just things you just don't know. You know, Daniel 12:4, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book. So there was a time when this knowledge was sealed, even to the time of the end. And when that time of the end, where we now have knowledge, and we understand that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. So we got to apply this knowledge every single day in every single decision that we make from here on out. You know, we know how hard it is to do certain things, but the fact that we're thinking upon the Lord and making sure that we're, you know, trying to walk as righteous as best to the best of our ability. Hey, we're going to be making changes, making different decisions. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And this is knowledge being increased. We got internet. You know, you got Chat GPT, man, use it. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's go and chat real quick. And ask the chat, how do I get into shape? Let's see what it says. Getting into shape depends a little on your goals: strength, endurance, weight loss, mobility, but the foundation is the same. Move consistently, eat smart, and rest well. Here's a clear roadmap. Set your goal. Do you want to lose fat, build muscle, improve stamina, or just feel healthier? Weight loss. Focus on calorie control, plus cardio, plus strength training. Strength/muscle. Focus on progressive resistance training, plus protein. General health, a mix of cardio, strength, and flexibility. Exercise plan, strength training, 2 to 4x per week. 2 to 4x per week. Push-ups, squats, planks, lunges, rows, deadlifts, etc. Start body weight, then add weights over time. Aim to progressively challenge yourself. More reps/weights/sets. Cardio 2 to 3 times per week. Brisk walking, jogging, cycling, swimming, jump rope. Mix steady state. Longer sessions with intervals, short bursts. Flexibility and mobility daily or 3 to 4x per week. Stretching, yoga, or foam rolling to prevent injury and improve recovery. Nutrition, eat whole foods, lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats. Watch portions and cut back on ultra processed foods and sugary drinks. Aim for enough protein, chicken, beans, eggs, fish, tofu to support muscle. Hydrate. Water should be your main drink. And we know Jake don't drink a lot of that. Lifestyle and recovery. Sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours per night. This is when your body repairs itself. Consistency. Small daily habits matter more than occasional intense efforts. Patience. Real change usually takes months, not weeks. Okay, so, this is knowledge being increased. And that's just a sort of what Apostle Gabar's getting into. Well, whenever anybody's talking about health and things like that, man, your ears should be opening up, man. Because this information, we used to have it, man.
And on the internet, there's plenty of videos. We are under the curses, but we're also under a time where knowledge has been increased. And on the internet, there's plenty of videos, plenty of articles you can read to bolster your health, okay, to learn to eat the right diet. You got the carnivore diet, you got the keto diet, you got the pescatarian diet, you got the fruitarian diet. All right, you find a diet that agrees with your body and you stick to that diet. You shouldn't be eating processed foods. You shouldn't be drinking no goddamn soda. Pastor already warned you, if he catch you drinking soda, he's gonna whoop your ass. He's gonna whoop your ass, right? That's what he said, right? You shouldn't be drinking any goddamn soda. You shouldn't be eating processed foods. You should know what processed foods are. Bone up on the knowledge, man. The knowledge is out there. Reach out and grab it. And then most of all, apply it for your health. We're talking about your health here.
That's right, man. Applying. True, man. So true. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Yeah, but you got to apply the wisdom. There's no point in just knowing something and don't apply it. All knowing but not doing anything. That's foolishness. You ain't applying the wisdom. You just absorbing it. Like, be careful.
Shouldn't be no big, fat, nasty, sloppy brother in GMS, man. Shouldn't be. Okay? Fat, nasty, sloppy brother in GMS, man. Shouldn't be. Okay? But we do have them. All right? Get out there and do your walk, man. There's a video called Walking, the Superpower You Never Knew You Had. Walking will transform your life. You kidding me? It did it for me. I was, not too long ago, I was 300 pounds almost.
Wow. Wow, man. That's deep. I've been, I stopped beer too, man. I was drinking mad beer before, man. That shit makes me just... It just makes me, I don't know, Maybe I was just drinking way too much, but I didn't even notice how big I was till I actually got on a scale, and I was like, I was like 240 something, and didn't even know it. And then I started drinking, I think I lost like 25, 30, like something crazy, and wasn't even working out. I just stopped drinking, and I lost mad weight. Not mad weight, but it was definitely a lot of weight from drinking that shit.
All right, as you can clearly see, I'm slimming down, okay, a lot. And then you know, start doing your which I'm gonna get into, your push-ups and sit-ups and all of that, man. And then you know, you know, for your age, you get a nice tight frame, you know. Be able to take care of yourself if you need to. You know what I'm talking about, and take care of a woman, okay. Put it on that woman, you know, because you got the energy. Because why? You eating right, you exercising, you're doing what you got to do. That's just common sense.
That's right, man. And it tells you in Proverbs, man, you'll come to poverty, man. You know, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags, man. You know, laziness, it comes in all forms of how you perform and how much energy you have, man. That's a direct result of that, man. And moving around with excess weight, man, that takes a lot of energy. So the less weight you have, the more energy you're gonna have. Okay? If you have less energy, you're not gonna wanna work as much. You're not gonna wanna perform as good. You're gonna be working with using extra energy, wasted energy.
That's the message of this video. That's just common sense. Shouldn't be no fat, lazy, sloppy, fat nasty. You know, we're always getting on the nigger woman, how morbidly obese she is. All right? What about you men? What excuse do you have? All right, get out there, man. I'm gonna be 60 this year, 60, 6-0. And I damn sure don't feel like it. All right, why? Because I've drastically changed my diet and I believe in the exercising. Like earlier today.
Come on, man. Do 60 and he looks better than somebody that's a lot younger than him, man. But look what he's doing. You know? It's beautiful. You know, I have some more scriptures in here. Proverbs 23:2, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Yeah, you want to put a knife to your throat, man. Pretty much you want to check yourself. I believe when you read Proverbs 23, it's going into if you're sitting at a king's table. Let's go there real quick. I didn't want to make this too long. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee. Yeah, you at a ruler, man, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Yeah, you want to check yourself, man. You want to be a glutton at the king's table. Be not desirous of dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Okay? Let's see what Proverbs 23:3 means. Do not crave his delicacies, for that food is deceptive. This verse advises against desiring fine foods offered by a ruler or influential person because the generosity may be a trick, indicating hidden motives, or the food might be harmful despite its appearance. The verse encourages wisdom and discernment, cautioning against the potentially deceitful nature of such offerings and the obligations they might create. That's right, man. And you sitting at the king's table every time you eat, man, because this food was provided to you by your enemy, man, Esau. Okay, so you want to consider using encourages wisdom and discernment. Okay, and a lot of this shit we shouldn't be eating. We should be trying to eat the best out of the worst, and it's not what we've been eating, burgers and hot dogs and shit like that. Just trying to eat a lot better than that.
Yeah, I really didn't feel like walking. Let me take a day off. And the other part of my mind said, man, fuck taking a day off. get your ass out there and at least do 3 miles. And once I started doing the walk, I started getting into it. I said, man, fuck this. I'm gonna do more than 3 miles. I could have did 6 miles if I wanted to, and just keep on going, because I felt that energy kicked in.
And we're gonna. I was just thinking about. I was walking. I had to walk a few miles a couple of days ago, man, and I was hurting. And like I'm still feeling a little bit of pain. So it just goes to show you, man, if you're not using your body, man, it's not gonna work for you. Taking these walks, if you do have to take a long walk, that's good. You might not make it, man. But if you give yourself a chance by changing certain things, and man, that's good. It's gonna benefit you. It's only gonna benefit you. You think about Israel walking out of Egypt, man, just walking, man. No wonder why we were so strong. The Lord put us through a lot, man. Crossing the Red Sea and just walking in the wilderness for 40 years. Come on, man. We didn't have time to just be being lazy, but we have all the time to do that here in Babylon. But it's all a facade. It's all fake, man. This is not our rest. Okay, so we got to stay active, man, and continue to know that this ain't our rest.
And I'm liking the way I'm starting to look. All right, that also fuels me too. That'll fuel you, brothers. You brothers that are morbidly obese, take a good look at yourself in the mirror, a good long look. And then say to yourself, is this really what I want to look like? Can I change what I look like? The answer is yes, you can. You can change what you look like. All right? You can change your diet, that you can do. You can change your diet, you can exercise more. If you change your diet, you'll get more energy to do your exercises, especially your walking. Okay? You can lose a lot of pounds just walking. Even if you start with 1 mile, then you graduate to 2 miles, then you graduate to 3 miles. Before you know it, you're knocking 6 miles out the box like it's nothing. And you know how much weight you're losing when you do that? Come on, man, there's no excuse. All right? Not only at GMS, sounding like a goddamn commercial, not only at GMS do we, it kind of startled me a little bit. Not only at GMS do we work out our minds, we also work out our bodies too. Get in shape, man. You never know when you have to defend yourself. You got a lot of fucking knuckleheads out here, man.
That's right, man. That's right. I'm glad he said that, man. Because I one thing I noticed is, like, I feel like a lot of Israelites don't. I don't know, man. I think they think they ain't gonna have to, like, really fuck something up, man. Like, it's like people, not really, but in the times to come, man, I see all of that type of shit happening, man. You might have to discern, man. You might have to fuck somebody up, man, when you don't even want to. Like, but a lot of people just think, I don't know what they think, man, about the Lord, man. I don't know what they think about the Lord. Let me grab this precept, though. Psalms 144, verse 1. A Psalm of David. Blessed be the Lord Yahweh, my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. All right. So the Lord he might put your hands to work, man. He might really teach your hands to war, man. Some of these YNs out here, get the what? come into a situation, he pull a strap out on you, man, please, man. Please. And some parts in my head, man, I hope that don't have to happen, because I would hate to put a Jake down like that, man. But 2/3 of y'all, man, like, what you think? It's me or you? The Lord might give me the W, man. And I'm not going to be playing games with y'all, man. You know? Psalm 144, man. Let's look this up real quick. I didn't want to make this too long, but hey, I'm in the spirit. The opening verse of a psalm attributed to King David, in which he blesses the Lord as his steadfast protector, rock and strength, who trains him for battle and delivers him from his enemies. The verse describes God as the source of stability and power, who provides both physical and spiritual defense for the psalmist. That's right. He might require you to smite something, man. Okay? Just saying.
You know what I'm saying? So it just makes common sense for a man to stay in shape. There's no excuse for a man not to stay in shape. Okay? It's good for your health, it's good for your mind, it's just good all around. As it is written, bodily exercise profiteth little. Bodily exercise profiteth little, but it does profit.
That's right. Let me grab the precept he's talking about. 1 Timothy 4:8, for bodily exercise profiteth little, but godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of the life that now is and of that which is to come. So let's look into that. What it's basically saying is that, you know, of course you want to prioritize spiritual, but it still profits. Okay. The verse contrasts temporal physical training with spiritual training and godliness, emphasizing that while bodily fitness offers short-term advantages, a life devoted to God provides comprehensive eternal benefits. So we should be asking the Lord too to give us the power that strength, if he's the source of our strength, to give us the strength to get to the desired outcome that we need. Okay? Especially if you're striving for godliness, man. Why wouldn't the Lord help you out in areas where you need help?
So do it. Get up off your ass and do it. Stop being fucking lazy. That's one thing I got to say about my father. Typical West Indian that he is. He's still alive. Typical St. Lucian. One thing that you get on the fighting side of my father if you were lazy. That's a man. My papa is a hard-working man. I've never seen a man work as hard as him. I got to give it to him. My father, and I'm not just saying it because he's my father. I've seen it. All right, that's a hard-working man. That's that typical so-called West Indian in him, you know. And he's proud of that, man. He's proud to be a so-called St. Lucian, you know. So anyway, his thing was he hated lazy people. He hated people that was lazy. All right, so you brothers out.
I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. You know, I hold myself to a high standard, and I hold the people that be around me to a high standard for them to hold themselves to a high standard. You know, and I mean, you should.
Out there, don't be lazy, man. All right, get out there and do what you got to do. Get yourself in shape.
That's right, man.
Okay? So with that, hopefully you found this video edifying, and I'll see you in the next video. Shalom for now.
All right. Shalom, man. Right there. Shalom.